Welcome to Around the Rinks, your go-to hockey podcast. What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to Around the Rinks, your go-to hockey podcast. We got myself, Liam, tonight with Kylie Betts, Brendan, Noah, and Reese. Welcome to our Western Conference prediction episode. The way this one is going to work is pretty simple. We're going to go division by division, and the four of our contestants tonight are going to give some predictions on who they think is going to top each division and who's going to have an absolutely stinky season. How are we doing tonight, everybody?
You say contestants like we're gonna win
This
something.
is a game show. I'm the host. I'm
yeah,
Bob Barker.
you're gonna give us points.
You get a dog if you win at the end of the year.
Hell yeah,
Dalmatian. Okay, everyone gets a Dalmatian. Before we get into it, though, make sure you follow Around the Rinks on social media. Links are down in the description on YouTube, Instagram, Twitter, and maybe a TikTok coming up. We will see. But yes, we are going to go division by division. I'm going to start things off, I think, at home because home is the best place. So that means the Pacific Division. And I'm going to throw it to Noah Pomeroy to get things started.
Oh, you're going to start it off? Okay. What are we doing here? So we're doing
Give me your top two. Who's going to finish top two in the Pacific this season?
Well, I ain't gonna lie, I kind of went ahead. I went through the entire league and I kind of sorted everything out. And my number one team in the Pacific is also the number one team in the NHL. So I think the Edmonton Oilers are not only just winning the Pacific Division, not only just winning the Western Conference Division, but they're going to be top in the league and getting the President's Trophy.
Whoa!
We fully converted him.
Hey, yeah, I'm the non-Oilers fan on this podcast. I think this Oilers team is I think it's so much better than last year. I think not even just how they've matured and how much maturity you get for going to the Cup final. Like, kind of look how Florida did the year before. They added goal scorers. Mm-hmm. And this team is going to score so many goals. You got McDavid and Draisaitl, who can probably score 50 goals if they feel like it. You got Hyman, who I don't think he's going to hit 50 again, but he's probably going to hit 40 for what we know. Like, you got Jeff Skinner now, 25 plus goal scorer. He can easily hit 25 with that Oilers squad. I think he maybe projected the second line there with another goal scorer in Arvidsson. Like, saying goal scorer a lot because this team's going to score a lot of goals.
Don't forget about Bouch.
And, of course, Bouchard. He's going to probably lead defenseman in goals. Like, this team, man, is going to be crazy. And I think Skinner's going to get better. I think the only weakness they got is on the defense, or they got slightly worse in. I think losing Darnay and CC. I know CC was hated on, but, again, like, having veteran presence there,
yeah, wait for November.
Very important. Yeah, I know.
We're gonna be wishing he was back here.
Yeah, we'll see how that all turns out. I think Bouchard's only gonna get better. I think Nurse has a redemption year. I think he has to, and of course he's never gonna play up to his contract. But as long as he plays consistent hockey, I think that's all everybody asks for. Do you want me to go to the next team, or
I was gonna quickly,
do you want to pass it around with everybody? Because I'm yapping.
I don't want to steal anybody's thunder of their number one pick, but does anyone have a team topping the Pacific other than the Edmonton Oilers?
No.
Okay.
What'd you expect?
Fair enough. So I think we can all, so we'll put the Oilers top for the Pacific. Noah, who's your second spot?
Going again, Vancouver. And this one I really debated about between Vancouver and Vegas. I just like what Vancouver has done more just offensively. I think bringing Jake DeBrusk is great. I think losing Zadorov is pretty bad, but Darnay could fill that spot. The biggest question mark, of course, is coming in goal. Thatcher Demko, we don't really know what's up with him. It's a knee issue, and most we've heard about it is that he just needs rest. And so he can't really work out. He can't really train. I've seen him on ice a couple times, but there's not much we can say about Thatcher Demko. I think Shilov's might be a real deal. It's a gamble and a half, but I really like what he's shown in the playoffs. Again, 9 games, I think it was. Like, he's 9 regular season games he's only played in his career. It's tough, but I'm pretty high on the Canucks. I think Patterson's gonna have an insane season. Quinn Hughes, of course. Like, you have 2 number 1 guys who are fantastic. JT Miller, 1-2 punch down the middle. I like the Canucks.
So Noah Pomeroy is going for a double Canadian pick in the Pacific Conference there. Kylie Betts, you're up next. Give me your second pick.
Well, I had the exact same as Noah, actually. I don't have Vancouver down on paper, but I do like what Vancouver did last year. I mean, they were one of the scarier teams that we versed in the playoffs. We did have a bit of a scare there. We had to switch out goalies, in fact. So, I mean, Shilovs gave us a run for our money, and he wasn't even, like Noah said, he wasn't even a net much in the regular season. And it got a bit scary and a little hairy there. So, but I definitely do think that the Oilers are going to go farther than the Canucks. I think the Canucks will kind of get close. I like what, they got Desharnais, so that's one of the sadder things. But they did upgrade their defense a bit with him. And, our defense is a question in Edmonton, but I think that we still got more things coming for our defense. I don't think we're just going to leave it at that. And put all the pressure on Bush. And then, I think, like Noah said, I think Nurse is going to try and up it up a bit. I mean, I think we kind of set him up to fail with that contract because I don't think he could have ever lived up to that contract. But I think he's going to try his best this year. I mean, everybody has to. But I definitely do think that Oilers are my number 1, and I'll pass it off to Brendan.
You're not the host of this show. I'm
Yeah.
sorry. But what I was going to say was you mentioned the words scary and hairy, and when I think of that, I do think of Brendan. So now I'm going to throw it over to Brendan. So, Brendan, you have the Oilers at the top spot. Who is your number 2?
I won the other side of the coin flip with Noah, and I like Vegas. Yeah, Viva, baby. I think that they are kind of scary moving further into the future, but as it still stands, they've got a fantastic team. They lost some key pieces in Marchessault, Stevenson, Martinez, to just name a couple. Those are tough holes to fill, but a healthy Thomas Hertl, Victor Olofsson, a guy who showed flashes in Buffalo, also just got drugged through the mud and did nothing. So kind of a scary one there. A healthy Mark Stone. Like, their decore's still pretty well intact. They went out and got Hannafin last year. They re-signed him. They're a fantastic defenseman. I mean, Aiden Hill took him to a cup, right? Like, I don't know how you really bet against them right now. Again, I don't know what they're going to do at the deadline with absolutely no assets, right? But I think as it stands right now, if they can maintain their health, Vegas is a very, very scary team in that division, in the league.
Now from scary and hairy to an absolute beauty, Reese, give me your number 2.
Yeah, I'm staying with a pretty normal thing. Canucks are probably going to finish second in the division. It sucks. They're good. I don't think they'll be as good as last year. They've got some pretty big holes. I think losing Lindholm, I think replacing him with DeBrusk, like, you're still adding probably 30 goals, right? Like, DeBrusk is going to be solid, but I don't know if DeBrusk is the same two-way kind of guy. Trying to fill that Zadorov hole, who, like, in my opinion, shocked the world and played out of his mind in Vancouver. Like, it kind of depends. Is Elias Pettersson going to be as good as he was before he signed the contract or after? So I think there's still a lot of questions, but I think they're going to be a solid team. Definitely second in the division.
Yeah. I do think the majority of voters would say Vancouver would probably finish second. But yeah, Vegas, good shout as well. Let's move things out of the Pacific, though, and into the Central Division. A couple big hitters in this one for sure. Let's keep the beauty train rolling. Back to you, Reese.
So to the Central now.
Yes, sir.
I think it's clear cut. Dallas is such a strong team. If you bring in Maverick Bork too, just another guy who's lit up the AHL, just the exact same as Stankov and the exact same as not Wyatt Johnson, but just these out of market names almost that you never really hear about until they get there. And then boom, they're just a stud. So mix that up in with the core of Johnston or with Robertson and Hintz and Ben and Sagan. Like, they're so good. Harley's going to take another step. If Ottinger just plays 900 save percentage level hockey, like, that team will still win 45 games, in my opinion. Like, they're a wagon, and it's going to be scary going up against them, whoever has to see them in playoffs.
That's your number one. Do you want to give me your number two as well?
My number two, I don't know if you guys all have the same one, but Nashville. I think that they're going to start off the season pretty slow. Like, I think it's going to take a while for Marchessault and Stamkos and all those guys to really gel that power play. Yossi and Forsberg have been the guys there forever, and now they got to share it with a couple other Stanley Cup champions, right? So it's going to be an adjustment, but I think going into the playoffs, like, they're going to be on some kind of heater, and they're a scary team. I don't know about, like Brendan was saying about Vegas, I don't know about years in the future, but that's a scary lineup right now with two Stanley Cup champions headlining it.
We'll keep that one rolling over to Noah with your 1 and 2 in the Central.
Honestly, I kind of have the same thing as Reese here. I do want to give a shout out to Colorado.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, they're still going to be a fantastic team, and who even knows? Landeskog might come back. I don't think it's going to happen, but that's something that's been in the rumor mill. But again, I think that first line of Duran, McKinnon, Rantanen, that's just going to tear it up how it did last year. Of course, you got Cale Makar back there. Nikushkin, that's going to sting not having him for the year. I do like how they got Casey Middlestat. I think he's going to start really developing into his own, extremely like his last year in Buffalo. Other than that, there's not much to like about Colorado. That's why I do have Nashville and Dallas above them. But
yeah,
again, same points as Reese. Like, that Nashville team, I love it. I love them to bits, and just bringing in two first line forwards.
Never hurts. Never hurts.
Never hurts. Yeah.
Let's toss it up to Brendan now. 1 and 2 in the Central.
Like Reese, I won't dive too far into the Stars. They top it. I don't know how you really bet against them. And two, unlike both Noah and Reese, I don't see the Preds gelling quite as well. I like the Avs. I think that McKinnon is the clear-cut second best player in the world, and on any given night, he can be the first best player in the world. He could take over a game in a moment's notice. Makar is right there behind him. That is a 1-2 punch I don't want to deal with ever. They have enough around him. Like you said, Landeskog's gone, probably not coming back. Nikushkin, that whole situation's just been a mess. Like, when he's in the lineup, he's a moose. He can't do anything about it, but he's out of it more than he's in it seems like, and that will be the same going forward. But I like the Avs. I think that they have the pedigree. They have like a lot of the same core that won them a cup, and as long as they can get some consistency between the pipes, there's no reason they shouldn't be fighting for that top spot in the division.
I love how Brendan is just giving your guys a second spot as his, or your guys' third spot as his second, both divisions in a row. I love that.
Yeah.
Kylie, finish it off with 1 and 2.
I have a different number one than everybody else, but I do want to remind you how good I did in predictions for the playoffs.
Okay.
Move it on.
Before, I have the Avs as number one. I think Dallas is going to finish second. I think the Avs want it. I mean, they do have the second best player in the world, and they have Cale Makar. And, I think they have a couple holes, but I think they have time to fill them. And I think they're going to do great. I'm not saying that Dallas won't make it farther in the playoffs than them, but I think they're going to crawl for the top spot. Yeah, so that's what I have.
I think there's 3 teams in the division who are very good teams and will value themselves as we can top this division 100%.
Yeah, maybe I'm just preying on, the Dallas Stars' downfall. Maybe it's just
that's fairly valid though.
Opinion, but
let's flip the switch though. That was your top 2. Let's go look at who's going to be your bottom 2 in each division. Go back to Noah for the Pacific Division. Who will be the worst 2 teams?
I think it's kind of obvious it's going to be the Ducks and Sharks for the bottom 2. Both California teams, I think they're doing the right things. So they're both coming up. I really like what San Jose did this offseason. I really like how they brought in Toffoli. I think him and Celebrini, who knows? That might be kind of lethal. But even have other Sharks like having Will Smith, William Eklund there too. It's looking good. Defense, it's the weakest in the NHL by probably a large margin.
Cody Ceci.
What's sorry?
Cody Ceci.
Yeah,
the GOAT.
I can't wait for the Sharks and Edmonton to go against each other and like Ceci scores. already putting my money on it right now.
It would have to be a game 7 if Cody Ceci were to score.
Oh yeah, Mr. Game 7 himself. Yeah. Other than that, like I would put the Ducks slightly higher than them. I think the biggest factor in that is John Gibson. I mean, that guy's. I think he's still he's a pretty good goalie. And more defense, you have Fowler, Gudas, and whatnot. Then you also have some kids coming in. You have Cutter Gauthier. I'm excited to see more of him. I ain't gonna lie, that kid is going to be great. And Leo Carlson now. He looked good. He did get injured last year, but he came back, still looked great. And then McTavish, of course, all studs in that, or in California. Honestly, both teams.
Yeah, and all California affair there for Noah in the Pacific. Let's go to a man who could be a California Hollywood stunt double. It is Mr. Brendan Eric. Give me your bottom. Oh yeah,
I was so ready for Reese.
No. You got the face for an action movie. You do.
Oh,
little Jared Butler over there.
He's got the
Tom Cruise over here.
Oh my
Jared
God.
Butler. Yeah.
Oh
well, you don't have to be pretty for action.
Like I said, Mason McTavish is stunt double.
Bottom 2.
Sharks are at the bottom of the league. They everything Noah said, I will echo. They are doing things the right way. Askarov coming in for what I thought was next to nothing for a top tier goalie prospect. That's incredible. Defense in front of them is nowhere to be seen. Minus Cody Ceci till the trade deadline, and they flip them for something else. Forward prospects through the roof. Toffoli, again, all the same. I think the Ducks will compete for the second worst team in the league, or team in the division. But you know what? Just because I'm an Oilers guy, screw the Flames, man. No, they will be. They're trending worse. I don't know. I could see them going kind of either way. The goaltending situation to me is a big question mark. Wolf is, by all accounts, someone that is going to be there for the next, decade plus. Vladar, he's been very competent, but neither of them have been full-time starters.
Who was the guy
probably split the net.
Who was the guy in the preseason game?
The Devin Cooley.
Incredible.
Yeah.
He did great.
So just a fun fact about that. When the Oilers beat San Jose, I think 10-1 last year, or 10-0, 9-0, Devin Cooley was a starter in that game. And so he came into that preseason game. I think
revenge.
Quite the bite to him. And
no,
sorry to go on a tangent. Devin Cooley, best interview guy. I don't know if you guys heard it.
100%.
Dude, unreal.
The salt of the earth, just happy to be there kind of guy.
Yeah, Calgary's a bit of a shout, but you never know.
I don't know. They got some studs still. Obviously, the Huberto, who knows what he's going to do. Kadri's is someone you never want to play against. Sharon Govich, stud, right? But I don't know. There's so many question marks, so many places, and for sake of being different, screw Calgary, man.
Hell yeah.
And you never know, something, Calgary getting their new stadium. Maybe they kind of tank this season, get a high draft pick, get in a young star to kind of sell some jerseys. You never know. Let's send it over to Reese, though, for his bottom two.
So yeah, I'm not gonna stray too far away, but it'll be different. I've got Calgary finishing last in this division.
Wow.
Not as a spiteful fan. I think that's gonna turn into an extremely toxic environment in that team. Like looking at this daily face-off defense. I don't know if you guys have seen it. Like there's maybe 2 NHL defensemen on there in my opinion. Maybe Kevin Ball, like he could be but this team is weak. It will take a lot for Huberto to break out again at his age. And like I think it's going to be sell right away here. Like it's not looking very good right now for Calgary in my opinion. They need that new arena ASAP Rocky. But yeah, I think they're gonna be pretty weak. Obviously, you still got studs. Like you still got Sarangovich and you still got Kadri. Like Kadri can go out and get you 70 points. Sarangovich, he's still getting better. But like I don't think Anthony Mantha moves the needle at all, especially when you go and lose a Vezina caliber goalie. And then like just kind of hope that Vladar and Wolf can like manage it. Like Wolf hasn't had a ton of experience. What he has gotten in the NHL, he hasn't been all that great, in my opinion. And kind of statistically, like I think that it's going to be some dark days in Calgary this year.
If he sees this, he's going to cry.
And then I got San Jose. Like, I think exactly what Noah's saying. They're doing everything right down there. They've got so many prospects. Like, I think what they're going to run into is too many young guys that are too good. Like, they've got such a deep squad. Not right now, obviously, but like you think Eklund's got to get better. Celebrini, I think could like, I don't know, maybe I'm reaching for it, but he could probably get 60 points if he plays all 82 this year. Like, I think this team's gonna be pretty good. Like, not long from now, and adding guys that they needed to fill, like Toffoli and Ceci. Like, you need those veterans, and I think Toffoli. Like, you look at the pressure, I don't know if it's the right word to say because I know Calgary fans don't think they're going to make the playoffs, but like those guys in San Jose, like it's not like the media's bombarding them every time they go out to the grocery store and stuff. Like they're just going to be so free, whatever. But similar to what Noah did, shout out to Anaheim. I think they're going to break out. They're going to be sick. I like looking at this team. It's a lot better than I thought they were. But I'll tap out and hold off for now.
Was it Anaheim last season that started off super hot? Then like Frankie for Toronto was
2
top goal scorer.
Like 2 games, I think.
Who knows? Maybe they go off to another solid start. Yeah.
Run it back. Kylie, finish it off with bottom 2.
I don't have a bottom 2. I interpreted it a little bit differently, so it's kind of nice because we could switch it up a little bit, and I'll go last for all of them. But I kind of did a team that will underachieve or disappoint us a little bit more than our expectations. They might disappoint us a bit. So I just picked one, and I have the LA Kings. I think they're definitely going to underachieve what they did last year. I mean, we've broken their spirit 3 times in a row in the playoffs. So, and I mean, they had the Pierre-Luc Dubois contract too, so that's going to hurt them. So I just think they're going to underachieve. But yeah, I just did underachievers. I definitely don't agree with the Calgary being in the bottom 2 though. And I'll tell you about that in a bit.
Okay. All right. She's
Ooh,
doing
foreshadow.
She's doing it differently, and she's acting like she's host of the show. So that's bold of her. But let's go
I'm taking
to.
over. Liam.
I'll tell you more later.
Oh
How
yeah,
about
it
it?
is, yeah. Okay. We're going to the Central. You know, we might as well run it back. Noah, kick it off again.
Chicago.
Chicago.
Again, I've been saying for the last couple of podcasts, I love what they did. They're adding grit, and there's nothing better than a crappy team with some grit. Tyler Bertuzzi, Nick Foligno, Jason Dickinson, like the list goes on. And I think Bedard's gonna have a fantastic year. Extremely if Taylor Hall stays healthy. I think that first line of Hall, Bedard, and Bertuzzi could be a great performing top line, but the rest of the team kind of really falls off. They did bring in Mikheyev. Yeah, like it's not going to push you from being from the bottom to the top, or even like a tweener team. This team still got a lot to go with. I think Alex Vlasic on the decor, that kid, I love him, and his contract is great too. Kind of just a came out of nowhere type of player too. I never heard of him until last year or the year before or whatnot. And you still have Seth Jones, who can kind of similar to Darnell Nurse, and he needs to play up to his contract. But as long as he plays consistently, that's all you ask. Then yeah, that's pretty much it. Peter Mrazek, if he could play like how he played last year, can sneak some wins in. But I think the Central's pretty stacked. So I don't think Chicago is going to be near at the bottom of the league, but bottom of the Central.
Who's your number 2?
I don't even have a number 2 written down here.
I mean, you can okay.
Like I said,
Kylie's name in the middle of the pack team. That's
I could say
whatever you want to do.
Like I could say like Utah. I don't think Utah is going to be anywhere near. It's just the Central. I think is one of the best divisions.
Loaded.
It's loaded. Like even St. Louis. Like St. Louis can easily be 85, like a 500 team, way over 500. I think Minnesota could be 500. They're both going to be looking for playoff spots. And who knows what Utah is going to do this year? So, for like bottom teams, I'm just going to stay with Chicago because
I think Utah's going to be absolutely rocking the beginning of the season. I have a feeling.
I have that feeling as well.
I have some vibes over there. Brendan, give me your bottom 2 or whatever you feel like at this point. This game show is made up and nothing matters anymore. So,
who's winning?
No one's winning at this point.
Oh, I'm winning. I got called a stunt double from Hollywood.
He does.
True,
you guys.
Mason McTavish.
Chicago, bottom of the list. I won't say any more than Noah. He covered all of it. Again, I think this maybe not as even it's top heavy. I don't know. This division 1 through 8 is pretty loaded. I think Utah they made themselves a lot better. I think they can fight for a wild card spot.
Mm-hmm.
Amongst, everybody else. The Jets got worse. Minnesota, kind of same. I don't know. I think any of these teams could kind of finish 5 through 7. But, again, out of spite, screw St. Louis, dude. Taking Offer Sheeton, Broberg, and Holloway and sniping them away. Screw them. They're going to blow up. They're going to trade Kyrou. They're going to trade Thomas. It's going to be a fire sale. Screw them. They're going to finish 7th.
Wow. There's a lot of spite and anger in that man. To a guy who's smiling like an absolute beauty. Reese, give me yours.
Smile just got a little bit bigger, Liam. So, yeah, not much different than anybody else. Going with Chicago. Mm-hmm. This is a growth year. They got young guys coming in. Frank Nazar. Like a lot of young guys. I think Kevin Korchinski, another defenseman. I think if he could get some power play opportunity, he'll be a stud. And like Bedard, I think he's going to obviously reach another level. Like you look at the jump McDavid had from 48 points or 51 points in 48 games his rookie year to 100 the next year. Like, I don't think it'll be that dramatic, but I could definitely see Bedard getting 40 tucks and like 85, 90 points. And then 7, same. Fuck St. Louis. I'll never ever forgive him. I was super high on St. Louis last year, but like I think they've really they've dug themselves a hole. Like, you've got Broberg making too much money now. You got 8 years.
Making too much money. They're screwed.
Let me go in on this. You got 8 years of Buchnevich at $8 million. Like, this team, I think they've dug themselves a hole. Parayko's got another 6 years left on it. Like, get used to saying St. Louis sucks.
Kylie Betts, take it away.
Okay, so a team that I think is going to disappoint us, and I don't know if this is a hot take or if it's not. I mean, they kind of disappointed us this past season, especially when you have Hallebuck as your goalie. But I think it is going to be the Jets. I think they're going to disappoint us yet again.
I actually completely agree with that pick. I think the
Thank
Jets
you,
are gonna have
Liam.
a bad pick, a bad season. I actually think so. All right.
Yeah, I'm kind of torn if they're going to make playoffs or not.
I don't know.
There's a lot of good teams.
Very-
They were out early again.
Very bubble. Very
They
bubble.
got to snap back into it because they had the makings to win the cup, and they just right out.
I think they still do.
I mean, remember how surprised we were?
Nerd.
We just had Winnipeg going so deep.
I know, why not?
I don't know.
think-
I had them going
that
to
first
second.
round. Sorry.
And they didn't. So they messed up my playoffs predictions. So I'm salty.
Is there anything else we want to talk about in this one, or is that it done for the Western Conference?
You ready for a Cole
I
Perfetti?
kind of want.
Give it to me. Russ. Give it to me.
Sorry, guys. I got Utah making the playoffs. I think that this team, with a real fan base around them, with all of this new exciting stuff, like you look at Vegas, you look at Seattle, it's basically a brand new team, right? So I think getting Sergachev, a Stanley Cup, arguably a number one defenseman on a Stanley Cup winning team. Now, if he comes back and his legs messed up for the rest of his career, then yeah, this is not going to be the team that I'm expecting it to be. But like, you got another year of Cooley, like getting even better. Michelli, like that forward core is pretty incredible. And then
like
just
the Gunther
adding.
deal?
Oh, I love the Gunther deal. This guy, how many goals did he have last year? 18 and 40 or something?
Sounds
Like
right.
he's I think he's going to score I think you can make the argument he's going to score 40 next year. If he plays with Schmaltz and Keller, like he's got a ridiculous shot. I think this Utah team is going to be very good. And then I've got LA missing the playoffs. Not a shocker, I guess. But Seattle also coming in third in the Pacific Division.
Ooh.
Whoa.
I got
Over
Vegas sneaking in tightly on a wild card spot, and I think all this stuff is going to catch up to him. Petrangelo's getting a year older. These guys, like, if you look at that first line right now, they got Olofsson, Eichel, and Barbashev. And now, like, I don't mean to shit on anybody, but are you really going to tell me that Barbashev and Olofsson are two qualified Stanley Cup winning? Like, obviously they're Stanley Cup winning, but like, I don't think that's legit top line. Like, Eichel's world class, but
Mr. Daily Faceoff, who's the first line in Seattle? They're so much better.
Well, I think, dude, they're only getting like Beniers is not going to be anywhere near as bad as he was last year.
This is fair.
McCann, he's a lock for 40 now. All of a sudden, this guy's like one of the best goal scorers in the league. Maybe they're not like incredible, but I think like losing Chandler Stevenson and gaining him for Seattle, maybe not for that entire contract.
Definitely deeper. Definitely deeper.
Well, and
I'll give you that.
You've also got, I think Dunn and Larson is one of the best defense pairings in the league, and then you also just all of a sudden add Brandon Montour.
Yeah,
sprinkle him in. So I don't know. I think they're pretty legit. Now I'm just some idiot in RATV, but I'm standing by this, and I'm willing to be held accountable.
I ain't ready for Eichel's breakout year.
I completely second you with Utah. I have them as kind of like a little. I have every single division. I have a surprise team. So I definitely have Utah as a surprise team. I'm 100% going to the game on New Year's Eve because it's women in sports game too. So I think that's super cool. That's going to be the first time I'll see them in the building at Rogers Place. So I'm excited for that. I'm already looking at tickets. I'm definitely going.
Nice.
Who's going to be in the building?
Utah will be.
Utah.
Sorry. I thought you meant the women in sports one. Who are they bringing out for that?
No.
Clark.
No, I'm just excited to go.
They're bringing out Kylie.
Kylie, Kylie Betts.
Host of Around the Rinks.
Around the Rinks.
Bring me on the ice. I'll say hi. Yeah, I think Utah, I mean, they definitely got a bunch of good players. And just like kind of with the pressure that Vegas had, and they definitely performed well, and they had a great start. And I think Utah has the chance to do the exact same thing. They definitely have pressure on them. Every time you're a new team coming into the game, you got pressure on you. So it depends on if you live up to it or you don't. And I'm kind of betting on they do a little bit. I'm not going to like put 100% faith in them because you never know. And then I do have a surprise team for the Pacific. I think Calgary is going to do a little, and I'm just saying a little, better than I think that you guys think they are. I think they got like just a bunch of young players now. I mean, they did make a lot of mistakes, especially giving away Markstrom. That was probably one of their best players, and they just tossed him away for like nothing. But I think they're going to do a little bit better, especially from last year. I don't think they're going to be bottom 2, but I don't think they're making playoffs. I think they're going to be somewhere in the middle, and I think they're going to start very, very slowly, faster than Ottawa Senators, their rebuild.
Okay, throwing shades.
I'm going to toss
Yeah,
it to-
ricochet shot.
At Ottawa. What did they do?
Wasn't planned.
Well, I'm going to toss it to the people who are watching, saying, get involved in the comment section. Let us know your top and bottom 2 for each of the divisions. We will have an Eastern Conference video coming out very soon as well, so you can get into the Ottawa Senators and all that the Eastern Conference has to offer.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, episode 1 of our predictions is done in the books. Let us know what you think. Leave a like and get involved in the comment section. And check us out on social media. Links are down below. We will see you next time. Goodbye, everybody. That has been another episode of Around the Rinks, your go-to hockey podcast. We'll see you next time.